Tavish Cardiff, here representing our raw material for Food Week. The food pillar is the third pillar of our structure. It shows how we are nurtured in the beginning of our lives. If we want to take a look at it, it's really fascinating to pull apart the structure of how your ideas formed. Our nourishment may appear to come from what we put in our body and what we eat, but there's a spiritual component to it, there is an emotional component to it, physical, and of course mental. So how we were nourished as children informs our mental state as adults. Even with a lot of therapy, even with all kinds of things, we are prone to certain thoughts, behaviors, feelings, because those are the ones that we grew up with. Food Week gives us a chance to unpack our own mental structure. How we are nourished affects how we live our life, what our political beliefs are, what we think about our own safety in the world, how we feel about ourselves in the world, how we see ourselves in relation to the world, on and on and on and on, with the ideas that we have put together as truth. When we start to look at our own lack in nourishment, and there's none of us are walking around as human beings with every single part of ourselves taken care of. That's not the part of the human condition. I think if we accomplish that, we get to check out or something. Big breath on that one. The mental construct itself differs from person to person. Just walking around in other people's houses, you see that the way they do things are different. I like just observing the way a person prepares a salad or vegetables for a meal. If I'm sitting in the kitchen with them, everybody handles a vegetable differently, and the way that they prepare it for what they're getting ready to do. Everybody has their own process that probably came from their parents or their grandparents or their mentors, whoever taught them. And I can look back to so many of my own habits and know exactly what they trace back to. The love and attention that can go into a dish sitting on your plate that you've made for yourself, or that you've made with love, or someone has made with love for you. You can tell when the extra effort goes into your food. You can tell when extra effort goes into making you feel good or cheering you up when you feel bad. When we welcome that extra effort, we are allowing nourishment. Our mental construct tells us, again, whether we are safe or not. So safety plays an important part here. The fight or flight reflex is different in all of us, but gets triggered by these mental states that we developed as children. When we go to our own mental triggers and expect everyone else to have the same triggers because we do, this is where we get a little sideways. Looking at why we have our triggers and looking at our own experience, like, oh, that comes from my life. I get why I react this way to this behavior. Really helps a person to take that pause, breathe, realize, oh, that's me, and say what you need. Even if it is, hey, I can't have you doing this while I'm doing this because of XYZ. Can you respect that for me? And generally, a person will do that if they understand it to be something you need, not something that they are doing wrong. And I think that that is where we really could bring communication into the fold a little bit, because nurturing intentions and nurturing fulfillment are often on two completely different playing fields. Case in point, I have 3 daughters. In my efforts to feed them nutritious food and take care of their bodies and teach them how to do that, I restricted some level of treats. Now I feel like they got a lot of them. And I provided a lot of healthy food. As they have grown up and had whatever issues they have regarding food and eating, it's become very apparent that feeling like they were deprived of something maybe made them feel like they needed to binge on it when they weren't at home. Might have provided some of the things they were possibly predisposed to anyway. hard to say. In my family in particular, we struggle with overeating, I believe, with some sort of binge eating. We really like food. We all really like to cook. We're good cooks. We enjoy restaurants. We enjoy being together. Food brings people together. I think it just brought us together with a lot of extra stuff, and we didn't do the family things to, okay, now let's go all take a walk. Although we did have a pool, we did go jump in the pool, but mostly we just laid around it and watched the clouds and enjoyed the sun. Again, nourishing for the spirit, maybe not so much for the body. We can't cover everything all the time. Because if we could, we would operate so much differently than we do in the world right now. But recognizing how and why we operate allows us the space to figure that out for others, and to let them figure it out for themselves, and to breathe. Always breathe. I know that's all I'm a broken record with the breathing and the exhaling. To be truly nourished, we're getting rid of carbon dioxide. We are pushing that exhale out. And anything that we can do to facilitate that over and over. I know that if I do about 3 heavy exhales, I'll start coughing. I mean, just pushing my body to that level almost makes it feel like something's in the way and you can't get the next breath in. But you do. It's such a strange feeling, but put yourself there for a second. See what that feels like. It's a different space of mind-body connection, and it takes your mental awareness to make that effect in your body. Pulling those two things together is really the key to unlocking the mental nourishment, the spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional nourishment that each of us needs as a big, huge Band-Aid for all of the things that harm us and hurt us, when we really just want like that to feel comforted and to feel nourished, and for all the times in our lives where we didn't feel that safe, comfortable space that we needed because the person that we were talking to just didn't notice that that's what we needed, and we weren't able to communicate it because we are operating in such a state that fight or flight is about to happen. You know, when we're close to that, our reasoning goes out the window. That frontal lobe detaches from our brain, and we are just looking for safety. It's strange to see that happen in a person. It looks like they've gone off the deep end a little bit, but what happens is just their ability to reason was compromised because something scared them, something made them fearful. If you can go back and look at what made them fearful, you might be able to offer a safe condition for something that might otherwise go sideways. So compassion in food. I was talking with Kwan this morning, and we were deciding who was going to do the video because it's the 4th of July, and we have, not long before we're all supposed to be somewhere. I'm holding up the preparation of the food just to get this video complete so that I can have it ready for tomorrow. But nourishing our raw material is part of my focus and intention. So I'm happy to do it, and in the meantime, everybody's kind of taken stock of what they are thankful for, because, 4th of July and what it represents, Independence Day. How many of us truly feel independent in any way in a world where things are changing so rapidly and our way of life is challenged? So many of us. And the people that aren't are working hard to cling to the things that help them feel safe and nourished. So everybody take a breath today, no matter what country you're in, no matter what side you hold the flag for. Just hope that all of us, every human being, has a moment to feel nourished, to feel safe, to feel healthy in an emotional, physical, mental, or spiritual way. Thanks for giving us a moment this week. Consider all the ways that you can help nourish your environment and that it nourishes you. You can catch us on YouTube, Instagram, our website, our blog, and right back here every week, next week, Ignorance. And right on par, I have no idea who will be appearing in that video, but someone from our raw material or with deeply rooted connection will be with you next week. Have a great week.